Alright, so what we're going to do is use this file to paint this thing, color this thing in three different color schemes: analogous, complementary, and split complementary. So we'll paint it with an analogous color scheme, save it as a JPEG, paint it with a complementary scheme, save it as a JPEG, etc. So that's why we have these three separate layers. Now, how do we design these color palettes: analogous, complementary, split complementary? Well, we use the super duper Adobe Color web app. And I'll give you the link to this. And so I want you can explore this on your own, but what we are going to do for this exercise is just three things: the analogous scheme, complementary, and split complementary. If we choose analogous, let's take a look over here. The color that has this little point, this little arrow on it, is called the base color. At least that's what Adobe calls it, the base color. You can grab that base color and move it to wherever you want. Now your base color is the central one. You can change these, but let's not complicate the issue. But let's say, your base color is, let's find a nice one. Oh, I don't know. Like that one. Okay, purple. And for the analogous scheme, you can spread out the colors, but here's the thing. You don't want to go that way, right? Because you're not analogous anymore. So for the analogous scheme, you keep them pretty close together. Now, if you grab the base color, all colors move with it. If you grab the base color and move it in, you desaturate all the colors. Moving them out creates very saturated colors, alrighty? You can also grab, let's say this blue is like, yeah, that blue is really cool, but I want it more desaturated. So you can desaturate that, like that. Okay, so you can move the colors in and out to desaturate or saturate the colors. That's one thing. Now, if you want to change the value of one of these colors, for example, let's pick this red one. Okay, I like this red one, but I want something with a darker value, to make my work more interesting. So I can grab this slider at the bottom and pull it. And as you see, as I pull the slider to the left, yes, it gets darker, but also this whole color wheel gets darker. Don't panic. That's just an indication of the value for this color that we're working on. If I click on my base color again, life is normal, but then we have this very dark value of this red. If I want to adjust that value, I can, again, adjust it here with the slider. So we have RGB color model, and the last slider on the bottom is the value. You can also use, if you click this color mode, HSB, hue, saturation, brightness. Now, usually, in other applications I've used, especially in 3D modeling, this is called HSV, value. V is in value. So, but they're calling it HSB, and they're Adobe, so they can do whatever they want, I guess. And anyway, this is a little bit more comprehensible for some people, the HSB or HSV scheme, because this is hue, the wavelength of the color, saturation, and then brightness. Now, here's the thing: when you're messing around with this, with these, little pickers over here, you don't want to change the hue, because if you start changing the hue, then you're like leaving the color scheme. See, so if I start changing the hue, then everything gets all wacky. So you don't want to do that. But you can change what they're calling brightness. Just like as we did with the RGB, changing the value. So it's 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Um, I don't know. It defaults to RGB, so like working in RGB is just fine. Okay, so that is, and then you can also do, we're also going to be working with the complementary and the split complementary, and it's the same stuff I just said. Like you can grab the base color, move it, and all the other pickers move. You can move these individually to desaturate them or to make them more saturated, and you can change the value of any of these by changing the slider at the very bottom. So that's how you kind of manage and navigate around through the Adobe Color app, and I'll tell you in the next video how this applies to our specific exercise.